Hi, my name is Trey. Recently, I watched a Brene Brown TED Talk on the power of vulnerability, and I really related to it so much that I wanted to make a response video and really talk about why I think the talk was so important and why I related to it so much. So first off, I'd like to start off with this reality, and it's why we don't like to be vulnerable. Brene Brown says that shame is the fear of disconnection, and no one wants to have a reason to be excluded from connection, so they enable themselves to feel safe and security by not being vulnerable. Um, Vulnerability is the underlying reason for shame. If you can't be seen for who and what you really are, then it's not possible for you to be left out or excluded from anything because of who you truly are. Brene Brown talks about how it's necessary to be vulnerable and to allow and maintain any type of real human connection and not the fake, superficial, detached ones that we typically deal with and identify with in our everyday lives. Um, Her research actually suggested that those who have a strong sense of love and belonging believe that they are worthy to receive love and belonging, and this allows them to be more comfortable with vulnerability, and they can have a true experience with like human connection and authenticity. Um, this love and belonging is what gives us the courage to be imperfect, and because no one's perfect, and not constantly be concerned about our flaws. What makes you vulnerable is what makes you beautiful, and vulnerability is something that's really necessary. Vulnerability is the birthplace of creativity and joy and love and many other beautiful and real things. Where Brene Brown's knowledge really was put into action in her own life was when she discovered that research is the ability to control and predict, and everything that she had known to be true based on her recent research led her to the concept that she needed to be vulnerable to unpredictability, and she needed to stop controlling and predicting. Surrendering yourself to the state of vulnerability is very difficult, and nobody really likes to do it. And matter of fact, Brene Brown herself struggled mightily with it, and she struggled with it, and she's the one that knew it to be true the most. Now, I believe that there are only three type of people when it comes to identifying with this vulnerability, and they are those who push it away, those who know but don't deal with it, and those who embrace it. And I think that obviously the most difficult choice of the three are those who embrace it, just because the lacking number of people that consciously make that choice. I think it's necessary to be vulnerable to hard feelings. It's not possible to connect when we're constantly numbing our emotions to these hard feelings, no matter how harsh they may be. Because when we numb those hard feelings, we numb joy and gratitude and love and other real, truly exciting emotions. Then we find things to fill in for those missing feelings and emotions because we feel afraid, and we do it over and over again. It becomes a very dangerous cycle. Another prominent example where we don't allow ourselves to be vulnerable is with raising our children. It's important that we understand that no matter what, the child is always going to be imperfect, and is never going to be perfect. And our job is to not to be the perfect parent and make it perfect, but our job is to provide for it and tell it that it's worthy of love and belonging. I would have to say that if you're vulnerable, be very grateful for feeling vulnerable, and know that you're alive and that you can have that true and real human connection, because a lot of people can't. And where I personally relate to this is really my drive to always be perfect. And I've always had a drive to be perfect, and which in one light can be good and lead to lots of success. But what I really realized was I wasn't allowing myself to be vulnerable in any way, and it almost seems as if it's our human nature to deny and be ashamed of our imperfections, even though we all have plenty of them. And by not accepting this vulnerability, I wasn't allowing myself to be open to new ideas and perspectives, which can lead to new insights and powerful knowledge, because I knew that they would challenge my current beliefs and what I thought was true. Similar to Brene Brown, this experience that Brene Brown had. But overall, I think that this talk is really one that almost everyone can benefit from, whether it's personal insight about your own life and how you need to be vulnerable and to gain the courage to be imperfect, or just grasping a better understanding on why some human relations really lack genuine connection and live emotion. This talk is one that I can relate to, and I hope my response has given you a little insight about what I learned and why I thought it was relevant and important. So I just challenge you through your everyday life to be vulnerable and be open to new ideas and new things, and not always scared to be imperfect. Thank you.